Hey, happy Monday morning, guys and gals. Hope you are doing fantastic. So today I'm going to talk about 5 areas of life, 5 habits that are probably holding you back from having the true success, fulfillment, contentment that you want to have in your life. So if you feel like you're kind of struggling, that everything is a chore, that nothing comes easy, and you really just kind of would like life sometimes to feel like it flowed together and it actually was working instead of feeling like you're banging your head up against a concrete wall all the time, then stick around as I go over a few things that have really worked for me in my life and that have really transformed different areas in my life. I want you to remember, I've said this before and you're going to hear it a lot today, but the habit is more important than the amount, folks. And it's really, if you got the ability to write that down, if you're not driving, if you're at work, or if you're someplace where you've got a pen and paper handy, please write that down, guys. You will remember 10 times more if you are writing stuff down than if you're just listening to it. So if you have the ability to be writing and taking notes today, please write that down. The habit is more important than the amount. Now, before I go all the way into all of the details, I do want to give you guys a couple of quick updates. So those of you that are new to the channel, maybe you hadn't heard, but I'm 250.8 to 251.4 pounds as of today. So a week ago today, I announced a challenge. I showed a picture in my social medias. I stepped on a scale. I was 255.5 pounds, and I made a commitment to be under 200 pounds by December 15th of 2025 this year, or I was going to have to go get a job at McDonald's. I can happily tell you that the first week was a success. I weighed in today. My scale was all over the place, but my low weight was 250.8 and my high weight was 251.4. So there was about a 6-ounce discrepancy there after weighing a few different times. But even at 251.4, that's a lot lower than 255.5. So over 4 pounds in the first week, somewhere between 4 and 5 pounds that first week. And, I'm pretty happy about that. I was out of town. I didn't eat perfect. I didn't exercise perfect, but I was a whole lot better than I normally am, and it was on my mind. It didn't hurt. I started fasting yesterday at 3 p.m., doing a 24-hour fast until today at 3 p.m., and maybe I'll go a little bit longer. I haven't decided yet. I think for me, it's easier to decide ahead of time how long I'm going to fast. If I say, hey, I'm going to fast for 3 days when I start, then it's much easier than at, 2 o'clock this afternoon when I start thinking about the fact that I can eat again at 3. It, technically wouldn't be doing anything incorrect. I'm sticking to my word. It makes it a little bit harder to say, you know what, let's just do 2 or 3 days. But I'm not really fasting to lose weight per se. I'm fasting more to be closer to God and to, praying about a lot of things that are going on in my life. We're praying about moving. We're praying about a lot of different things that are going on, and we're trying to get closer to God. But anyways, that's one update. That's awesome. I'm excited to see that. I'm really excited to get back into the 230s. So I really want to, I'm 250-ish, 250, 251. Super excited to lose that next 11 or 12 pounds and to be back into the 230s and go from there. So hopefully in the beginning of this journey, I knew I was going to lose weight faster than, potentially towards the end of it. We shall see. I think that when I get down to where I have that last 10 pounds or so, I'm going to really have to dial in and be super, super, vigilant on my diet, on my calories, and on my working out. And anyways, for those of you that care, the weight loss challenge is headed in the right direction. And the other thing that I popped up here on the screen is for those of you that hadn't heard, I was able to get situated and start my men's Bible study, our small group Bible study. Guys, this is such an incredible opportunity to meet other like-minded, men. All of us are going through challenges in life. All of us have things that we're tackling, whether it's relationship, health, finances. We weren't meant to be alone. The devil loves to get us isolated and by ourselves. And usually the more you're struggling in life, the less you want to be a part of something like this. But sometimes you can feel like everything's going so fantastic in your life that you don't need anything like this either. And so I would say to both groups of people, if you're doing amazing and you're killing it in life, then people need you. Like, we need to see that example. Even me, myself, need to be around other people that are doing well and that are killing it, that are having success in life. And then, folks, if you're having a bad day, a bad week, a bad month, a bad year, then you definitely need to get around some people that are making it, that are starting to have breakthroughs in their life, that are seeing change and transformation. So I invite each and every one of you on here, all of you men, to join me tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern. Just click this link right here. This will hyperlink you so that you can join the group. Once you have been admitted into the group, then you're going to get the Zoom link and the information for tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Would love to see a few more of you join. We had 5 people joined last Tuesday when I announced this. We had 5 people that joined up and raised their hand and said they would like to be a part of it. Would love to get that up to between about 10 and 15 of us would be about the perfect number. So if that's something that you're feeling led to do, follow that calling. If you know that clicking on that link and joining me on Tuesday nights would be great for you, you feel a prompting, you feel it in your heart, but you're just having a little bit of resistance to it, I would highly recommend following your heart and doing that. And folks, I know some of you live on the other side of the world. It might be 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and we can get you into a group that's a little bit more convenient for you. But even that, in the meantime, guys, set your alarm, get up for an hour. It's just one day a week. It ain't going to kill you. Get up and be with us from 3 to 4 a.m. and then go back to bed for a few more hours. So I definitely encourage all of you, even if timing isn't necessarily the most convenient for you, to see if you can figure it out. Anyways, I don't want to lose too many people just going through the details. I want to go back to Happy Monday. Hope you guys all had an amazing weekend. I did. My son turned 19 years old on the 19th, had his golden birthday. We went out to Vegas and spent a couple of days with Ryan Pineda at a Kingdom Builders workshop. Learned some incredible business strategies, were around some other incredibly godly people, really made some new friendships, and then had amazing birthday dinner and spent some really good time with my son on the 19th. And but what in the world is this? The habit is more important than the amount. So I want to give you guys just a little bit of a brief synopsis on what in the heck that means so that you can apply it to your life. So in most things, folks, it's not that hard to figure out the baseline. Like most people will tell you, if you want to be financially successful and build up a lot of money, be able to retire, somewhere between about 10 and 25% of your income should be getting put into investments. So most financial gurus, if you will say on the low side, you should be saving and investing at least 10% of your income. And then others will go up to as high as 25%. And I'm in the ballpark. I really believe that it should be as much as you can do. The whole goal, in my opinion, in life is you want to go from spending 100% of your money or more, like most people do. And my goal is to get down to where I'm living off of 10% of my money eventually. But my point is there's baselines for everything. So, health. What do you, if you want to get healthy, what do you do? Well, most people would say that you should go to the gym or exercise 3 to 5 days a week, maybe for 30 minutes to an hour at a time, and so on and so forth. There's just about a kind of a standard, if you will, in almost every area of your life that people talk about. Spiritually, they say, hey, if you're really going through it in life, and if you're new to the faith, one of my pastors really loves to say you should be in church every time the doors are open. That's, the church that I go to, that's Tuesday night. They have an intercessory prayer. Wednesday night, they have a Bible study. Sunday, they've got, just a regular Sunday worship. I think on Thursday nights, they have a set free group for people that, are struggling with addiction. But if you follow that guideline of being in the building every time church is open, you could be in the church an awful lot. So what I want to do is I almost want to break this down into the ridiculous. So the habit is more important than the amount is very much what it seems. So I'll give you an example with finances. If right now you are making whatever number it is, you're making $1,000 a month or $10,000 a month, but you are spending $1,100 or $11,000, or even if you're just spending exactly $1,000 or your whole $10,000. In other words, if you're spending every penny that you make right now to live, and I come along and I tell you, hey, you need to save 25% of everything that you make and invest it. And you're like, if you're making $100 or $1,000 a month and barely existing on it, and I come along and tell you that you need to be saving $250 of that you need to live off of $750 a month, you're going to think I'm crazy. And you're never going to even try. The average person would never even try. And then you get up to 10 grand a month. Imagine if you're making 10 grand a month and you're spending all 10 of it. And I come along and tell you that you need to live off of 7,500 of it. That's a $2,500 deficit. You're definitely not going to believe that that's possible. And you're never even going to try. And so part of the magic of the habit is more important than the amount, is it will at least get you to try. So the habit is more important than the amount simply means that you pick something that you can do consistently and you do it. So I don't care if it's $1 or 1%, you choose. I'm not here to tell you how much. So with finances, we'll start off with finances. Your goal should be to get out of debt, at least the bad kind of debt, the credit card debt, and debt that is extremely high interest. And usually bad debt is debt that you go spend all of the money and then you pay for whatever you bought for years to come at high interest. So you want to be working on getting out of debt, but you want to also be building savings and investing. For us, you're probably going to be taking whatever it is and putting it into crypto. The second part of that with finances, though, is you can't spend it. So when you are saving money for financial freedom, when you're saving, I don't care if it's $1, 1%, or 25%, you don't spend that on a vacation. You don't spend that on a down payment for a house. That money is there and is designed to create financial freedom. So it takes discipline in multiple different ways. One, you got to save the money religiously. Two, you can't spend it. One of the biggest mistakes that I see people make is they'll finally get into the habit of saving. They'll get up to that 10, 15, 20, 25% mark. And the next thing they know, 5 years down the road, they've got $100,000 built up. And then all of a sudden, man, the new Jeep Rubicon comes out, or they decide that they want to move into a house and they need a down payment for a house. folks, that is separate. You got to do those things separately from the money that is creating your financial freedom. The money that is basically every dollar that you save into that financial freedom fund is there to help you make more money with your money. It's not there. If you want a down payment for a house, create a separate fund. But I'm going to go back to the habit is more important than the amount. So minimum, in my opinion, you should get used to living off of 90% of what you make, and 10% of what you make should be getting saved and invested at a minimum. But if you can't do 10%, pick an amount. Once again, the habit is more important than the amount. And next, I'm going to talk about health. And I think it's easier almost to see the example with health. But pick out an amount where every time you get paid, and I honestly don't care how much that is, but write it down. If you have a pen and paper and you're taking notes, you decide how much. So if you're making $1,000 a month and you're going to tell me, hey, I can only do 1%. So 1% of 1,000 is $10. I promise you, if you will start to save 1% and you save and invest $10 this month, and you save and invest $10 next month, and you save and invest $10, 3 months from now, what is going to happen, folks? Inevitably, you're going to get used to living off of $990. And you're going to be like, you know what? Living off of $990, it wasn't bad. I bet you I can move up to 2%. And you all of a sudden, you're going to start saving $20 a month. And within 3 months, 6 months, a year, 2 years, you will be living off of $900. You will slowly start to increase the amount because what you focus on grows. So you'll start to figure out, hey, you know what? Netflix really ain't doing me that much good. So I'm going to cut out the $15 a month for Netflix. And boom, all of a sudden, if you're on $1,000 a month income and you figured out a way to save 1%, which is $10, you get rid of the Netflix and all of a sudden you're up to $25. That's 2.5%. The habit is more important than the amount. You can't skip. You can't do your $10 month one, your $10 on month two, and then all of a sudden month three, it's time to go on that family vacation. And so you skip it. You're like, well, I'm going to spend the whole $1,000 this month. You have to stick to whatever it is. Don't do something that you can't stick to. I would rather you save $1 a month out of your 1,000 than 10 if you're not going to stick to it. If your 10 is going to cause you on month 2 or 3 to blow it and not do it, because this is also a big part of this is training your mind to do what you say you are going to do. They say that confidence is created in keeping the promises you make to yourself. Write that down, folks. Confidence is created in keeping the promises you make to yourself. If you're going through life and you're not very confident, I can almost guarantee you that you're the type of person that doesn't keep the promises that you make to yourself. You say, like I did yesterday at 3 o'clock, hey, I'm going to fast for 24 hours. And then last night at 6 or 7 o'clock when it was dinner time and somebody in your household was cooking dinner because they're not fasting and you caved and decided, you know what, I'll do that 24-hour fast next week. And you ate food at 7 o'clock. That eroded your confidence. If you were over this weekend, you overate and you didn't exercise and you were one of the people, there was millions of people this weekend in the United States and across the world that made up their mind that Monday morning they were going to draw a line in the sand. They were going to go to the gym today on Monday morning. And then they woke up this morning and they didn't go to the gym. That erodes your confidence. Folks, I'm here to tell you, if you can't keep the promises that you make to yourself and you can't trust yourself, you're not going to have confidence. And if you can't trust you, why would you expect anybody else in this world to trust you? So part of this exercise, guys, is learning how to build confidence and trust yourself. So seriously, the habit is more important than the amount, and sticking to whatever you say is more important. Now, I'm not going to tell you that if you're making $1,000 a month and you come to me and say, hey, I'm just going to save 1 penny because I know I can do a penny. I mean, that's a little ridiculous, but I'll be honest, I would rather you say and commit to 1 penny, 1/1000th of your income, 1 penny. And you save a penny this month, you save a penny next month, you save a penny the month after, because I tell you what, even somebody that made such a ridiculous commitment and was just going to save a penny, because it was kind of they set the bar so absolutely low, there's a real good chance that they're probably going to forget to save their penny. Like, if you're going to save a penny, take that sucker and you put it in a jar. You put that in an envelope where you can see it. In 6 months from now, you can go look at your 6 pennies. You want to be able to see it. But my point is, the habit is more important than the amount. Even if you start with 1 cent, I guarantee you save a penny every single month for 6 months, you're going to tell yourself at some point in time, that's ridiculous. I can do $1, I can do $10, I can do $100. You're going to step up the amount that you do. And remember, the goal is to get up to 10 to 25% minimum. At some point in time, I would like to be living off of 10%, giving away 40 or 50%, and saving and investing 40 or 50%. But to start with, your first goal, if you're not there yet and you can't commit to 10%, your first big goal should be to get to 10%. That's a great spot to start. So for those of you that are going to raise your hand and commit to something, throw a 1 in the chat for me. If this conversation is resonating with you, maybe you're somebody that doesn't have a habit of saving and investing anything consistently. Like you might be a cryptocurrency guy that throws $50 here, $500 there, $1,000 the next month, and then back to $25. Then you skip a month, then you skip a month, then you're back to $100. Even if you're somebody like that, I would like to see you commit to something that you're going to do religiously, month in, month out, no matter how bad it hurts. So if you've got an amount in mind and you're going to be committed to saving 1% or 5% or 10% or 1 penny, please throw a 1 in the chat. Second thing, guys, with your health. Once again, the habit is more important than the amount. Most people, when they decide that they want to get fit, that they want to start exercising, they want to lose weight, they go way overboard. They go buy a gym membership and they go spend 8 hours in the gym. And then guess what? You ain't worked out for 10 years and now you go spend 8 hours in the gym and your body hates you for the next week. You can't barely walk. You can't lift your arms above your head. You can't, you're in bad shape and you're so miserable that you never go work out again. Don't do that. If you're somebody that drinks, 6 Cokes a day and you have ice cream and candy every day, don't just cut everything off cold turkey. Guys, I'm here to tell you the habit is more important than the amount. Pick out one thing that you're going to do. I would suggest, like, one of my friends told a story where somebody came up to him. He's super, super fit, ripped, 6-pack, looks amazing. He's 44, 45, 46, 47 years old now, but he looks absolutely amazing. He's got a better physique than most teenagers or people in their 20s. And somebody asked him, hey, how can I get in the same kind of shape as you? And he basically told them, I want you to do 1 push-up every single day. And the guy was like, no, seriously, come on, man. I know you do a lot more than 1 push-up. Why are you telling me that? And he said, no, seriously, just do 1 push-up every single day. Commit to 1 push-up every single day. And the reason that he told the guy that was, I promise you said, I dare you guys right now. I would guarantee you, I'd be willing to bet just about everything that I own, if 10 of you committed to doing 1 push-up a day for the next 30 days, at the end of 30 days, 1 of you would be able to come back and say that you did 1 push-up every single day for the 30 days. 9 out of 10 of you would have quit doing one push-up, would have forgotten to do your one push-up, something would have happened, and you wouldn't even be doing one push-up anymore after 30 days. So I'm here to tell you, the habit is more important than the amount. And my friend's point, he told this guy, he said, hey, if you get down on your hands and knees, get down on the floor, and you do one push-up, and you do that every single day, after a few days, maybe a week, maybe 2 weeks, maybe after one day, at some point in time in the not too distant future, you're going to be like, you know what? I'm already down here. All of the effort to get down on the ground and to get into push-up form, I might as well do 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 push-ups. So the next thing you know, you're doing more push-ups because you're there. You're already in the process of it. And guess what then happens? After you get up to 5 or 10 push-ups, you think to yourself, you know what? This isn't so bad. Let's start going on a walk. And you decide you're going to walk for 15 minutes a day. So now all of a sudden, after a couple of weeks, you're going on a walk for 15 minutes and maybe you're up to 5 or 6 or 7 push-ups. Doesn't sound like much, but you just keep doing that day in, day out. After a little while, you're going to say, you know what? I think I'm ready for some weights. I think I'm ready for a gym. And now you go get yourself a gym membership and you're in the habit because you've been doing these push-ups. You've been going on this walk every day for a couple of months now. And you've got the habit. It's like this iced coffee. Man, I used to drink what was called a sugar-free Golden Eagle. Well, yeah, it was sugar-free, but it was made with half and half. And it had this sugar-free syrup, this sugar-free vanilla, sugar-free caramel, and then the caramel drizzle. And I went from that to this black iced coffee that's got 0 calories. The drink that I used to drink probably had 400 or 500 calories in it. And I went to this. Now, I will admit, I had a Golden Eagle over the weekend. I had one Golden Eagle. It's probably been, I don't know, a month since I had the last one. But guess what? I'm right back to this because this is my baseline now. This is my habit. This is what I have. So now that this is my habit, this is just what my go-to. I don't have to think about it. The first couple of weeks, it was a struggle. I would sit in the line at Dutch Bros and I would go back and forth and fight and argue with myself the whole time I was coming up in the line until they took my order. And for the first couple of weeks, man, it was like pulling teeth. I want a golden black, give me a black iced coffee, black iced Americano. But I tell you, it literally was a fight every day for the first couple of weeks. And then, but all of a sudden, I didn't have to think about it anymore. Like now I go into the line and I don't fight with myself because I don't get Golden Eagles. This is my drink. So now when I get in line, it's subconscious. They come up, I roll down my window. I was listening to some good stuff. What's going on, pretty girl, huh? Oh my goodness. I got a puppy. Yeah, I got a puppy that wants some attention, I guess. Yeah, what's going on, Nala? Yeah, this is my buddy Nala. Say hi to everybody. Look at those eyes, guys. I don't know if you can see them. She's got the most human eyes that I've ever seen on a dog. They're green eyes. Can you see those green eyes? Yeah. Yeah, look at those eyes. Mwah! She got the most human eyes of any dog I ever met. Yes, you do. Yeah, use the human eyes. But I got a little bit off topic there, but seriously, when I go to Dutch Bros now, I don't have that internal struggle because this is just what I do. This is just what I drink. And I guarantee you that if you get in the habit of doing those push-ups every day, pretty soon you won't have to remind yourself. Like in the beginning, you're probably going to have to set a reminder to do your push-ups. Come on, dogs. You're going to have to, maybe set an alarm. You're going to have to write a note. You're going to have to put something down to remind yourself because you might do a push-up today, but then there's a good possibility tomorrow you're going to forget. It isn't that uncommon. It's when you're starting a new habit, you have good intentions, but life gets in the way, you forget. So, but my point is if you do a push-up every single day for a month or two, you won't have to think about it anymore. And you'll get up and just do it. And before you know it, like my friend said, before you know it, you'll be in the gym. You'll be working out and exercising at the gym, and it'll become a habit. Once it's a habit, then you just are on the trajectory of the life that you want, the health that you want, the wealth that you want. But you have to take these things and turn them into habits. Let me get over here into the chat. Is there anybody here that threw a 1 in the chat? Anybody? Yeah. So guys, I love the fact. So Dave threw a 1 in the chat. Roger the Alien put a 1 in the chat. Let's go XRP. 1, 1, 1, 1. I see a lot of 1s, but guys, don't be one of the ones that comes back next week and didn't do what you said you were going to do. Remember, confidence comes from keeping the promises you made to yourself. So if you made that commitment, you're not making it to me, you're making it to you. So whether it was $1 or a penny or 1% or 10%, whatever the amount that you committed to, be able to come back in a week, 2 weeks, a month, 6 months from now and say that you stuck with it, that you did it. And once again, make it easy enough, almost ridiculous in some ways, to where there's no doubt that you're going to be able to do it. Because once again, I know I'm harping on this point. I would rather you save $1 a paycheck for the next 6 months than to save $100 this next paycheck and then nothing the paycheck after, and nothing the paycheck after, and then $50 and then $25, and then you're back to $100. So what is there? In 6 months, there's roughly 24, 25, 26 weeks. This might sound silly to you, but I would have more respect, and I would bet on the guy that 6 months from now that decided he was going to do $1 a paycheck. If I came back in 6 months and that guy was able to show me an envelope with $26 in it, versus the other guy that put 100 here and 25 there and 500 here and 25 there, I would rather bet my money on the guy that's got $26 in 6 months than the guy that's got 5,000 in 6 months, but he didn't keep his promise. He didn't just do his $100 a paycheck for every single paycheck or whatever amount he created. If you want to go above and beyond, great, but make sure you do your $1 every single week, no matter what. You can, of course, you can do more. And of course, there's no limit. Like if you do your buck for the first week and then you're like, well, this is ridiculous, I could do $25 and I'd be fine. Then yeah, move it up to $25. Just make sure you follow through and do whatever you say you're going to do. And there's magic in it. Something else that will start to happen, folks. If you've got people in your life that are used to you talking big, but then not showing up. If your wife or your husband or your kids have heard you talking about losing weight and going to the gym for 10 years, and now you're ready to do it again, and they don't believe you, they ain't excited about it. Like, hey, how come you guys ain't more excited? I told you I'm gonna exercise and I'm gonna lose this weight. And they're like, okay, Dad, that's cool. Why aren't you more excited? Well, the fact of the matter is, Dad, you've been telling us for 10 years that you were going to exercise and go to the gym, and it ain't happened yet. So don't be mad at people that don't believe in you if you've been lying to them for years. And don't get, and even yourself. That's why it's so important to build up this muscle of doing what you say you're going to do, committing to something and doing it. So what's the other thing? We talked a little bit about health. We talked a little bit about wealth. So let me see a 1 in the chat. Is there anybody here that's committed to doing the 1 push-up, to doing the 15-minute walk, committed to going to the gym, whatever it is on your heart that you believe you can stick to? Is there anybody here that's going to throw a 1 in the chat and let me know that they're stepping up, that they've got a commitment in mind, that there's something that they are going to start doing on a daily basis towards exercising or eating? Like maybe you went from 6 sodas, you're going to cut it back to 3, with your ultimate goal being 0. Remember, if you go from 6 a day, even to 5 a day, you just go from, hey, I drink a 6-pack of Coke every day, I'm just going to drink 5 instead of 6. And guess what? After a week or 2 or a month, you're going to be like, you know what? 5 sodas is nothing compared to 6. I'm still happy. I'm going to go to 4. Before you know it, you'll be drinking no soda. And then something else that you guys will figure out as time goes by and you really start to nail some of these things, you can then be a little bit more hardcore. Like, I cut off soda cold turkey, probably been 3-4 months ago since I've had a soda. I used to drink Coke Zero like it was going out of style, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 a day. And I just went cold turkey. But guess what? I didn't go cold turkey on my coffee. I quit soda, but I kept my coffee. I was drinking the sugar-free Golden Eagles. After 2 or 3 months of no soda, then I decided to go to the black iced coffee, but I'm still getting my caffeine. But my point is, as you build this muscle, you can start to do more extreme things. But like, even for smoking, like if you're out there smoking, I love you, but I just don't understand how anybody in this day and age can be a smoker. I just don't. Like, I'm reading the sign at the store yesterday, getting some waters, and the sign at the store behind the clerk says smoking kills more people a year than blah, 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 and listed off like 4 or 5 things, and heart, like things that kill a lot of people, like 4 or 5 big things, and smoking kills more than all of them combined. So in this day and age, I don't know how you could be a smoker. I quit smoking in 1999. I'm getting ready to celebrate, 26 years of not smoking, and I just did it cold turkey. But for most people, I would say there's nothing wrong with cutting back. If you're smoking a pack a day, go to half a pack, go to 3/4 of a pack, head in the right direction. I think there's 20 cigarettes in a pack. It's been so long since I smoked, I don't even remember. Go from 20 to 19, go from 19 to 18. Just do something, head in the right direction in these areas of life where you're not where you want to be. So we talked about health, we talked about wealth. I got some more ones in the chat, man. I got some more ones in the chat here. So I love that, if any of you want to put in the chat, like, what you committed to, like, are you going to do a push-up? You're going to do 5 push-ups? You're going to go on a 15-minute walk? For anybody that wants to, tell us in the chat what your health commitment is going to be, what that's going to look like. What are you going to do 7 days a week? And seriously, something else I should have mentioned is a lot of people will tell you, hey, you should exercise 3 to 5 days a week. You need to give your body some rest. And I agree with that, but not right now, because I don't want you working out so hard that you need a rest. I want you to create a habit. Hey, once you guys have worked out 7 days a week, done whatever you committed to for a month or 2 or 3, then if you want to start working out 5 or 6 days a week, good, you've got the habit. But right now, I want you to get used to 7 days a week. So commit to something that you can do all 7 days. Will you knock it off? Go lay down. Commit to something that you can do every single day to get started. Just like I had a Golden Eagle once, in the last month. That's because I created the habit. If I would have drank 2 or 3 of these coffees in a row and then I would have had a Golden Eagle, it would have been all over. I had to get my mind used to Brad Varnell drinks his coffee iced and black. And then every once in a while, he treats himself maybe to a Golden Eagle. When we go to a restaurant, I don't eat dessert. I don't. But, on my son's birthday, I had a little piece of cheesecake, and I was thinking about that with this weight loss vet. Do you really want to have some cheesecake, Brad? I was like, yeah, the whole goal, yeah, I'm going to get under 199 pounds, but I want to live life a little bit too. So I'm exercising, I'm eating much better. I knew I was going to fast for 24 hours. And so I let myself have a little bit of cheesecake, but that's not the norm. So I would say if you are the type of person that has dessert every single time you go out to eat, then maybe you quit having dessert and you don't have dessert for a month or 2 or 3. Then maybe you can go back to having a dessert, every once in a while. You guys are killing me today. I don't know why. I swear there's no rhyme or reason to it. One day they'll go lay down and just be perfectly quiet and not bug me at all. And then the next day they're bumping my camera, they're knocking over my light, they're fighting and growling, and there's just no rhyme or reason to it. If I had any idea, if there was something I was doing that caused it to be one way or the other, you could guarantee that I would do whatever it is that causes them to just lay down and sleep and not be like this during the live stream. But so here we go, man. Let's go XRP, man. 5,000 steps a day. Awesome, man. What an incredible place to start, man. Good luck on that. Not good luck. You're just going to do it. I can tell you're the type of person that if you step up and say you're going to do something, you're going to do it. So good luck to you. And I'm looking forward, man, to a progress report by next week. I'm looking forward to you telling me, man, I did it 7 days in a row. I did my 5,000 steps starting today. Don't start tomorrow, guys. Start today. If you're going to do one push-up, do it today. If you're going to do 5,000 steps, do it today. If you're going to save $1, do it today. Nothing good ever starts tomorrow. You got to get in the mindset of today is the day. On that, the other couple of things, we talked about 5 habits. I'm going to also mention the habit of giving. So guys, the habit of giving is super, super important. And once again, everybody has their own idea on what that looks like. In my humble opinion, I believe you want to get to the point where you can be giving 10% of your income. So you want to save 10% and invest. You want to give 10% to something that's meaningful to you. I'm not going to dictate or tell you what I think you should be giving to. That's personal. You know, later on, you know, if you become a Christian, if you're a part of my Bible study, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about where that can go. But for right now, just become a giver. For some of you, giving is tough. And I understand, especially when you're struggling, if you don't have enough to make ends meet yourself, giving can be extremely difficult. And that's why I would like to see everybody that's on this channel start to learn how to be a giver. Now, you know, if you're already giving, you know, the other thing about this, the other caveat to this conversation, guys, is let's say that I'm preaching to the choir. Let's say that you're already saving 10%. Don't discount what I'm talking about here. Go to 11. Let's say that you're already healthy and fit and you're going to the gym 5 days a week. Start going for 5 extra minutes. If you go to the gym for 30 minutes a day, go for 35. Up it. You want to become a better version of yourself, no matter how good that version is. So if you're already a giver, if you are already, you know, say tithing 10% of your income, then figure out some place that you can give offerings and do good with 1 more percent. Get used to doing 11%. But if you're somebody that has trouble giving and you can't remember the last time you gave to somebody else, then once again, just like the habit of saving $1, $1 can help somebody. You'd be surprised, man. $1 might give somebody the ability to eat that day. You know, it might just be a 99-cent chicken sandwich at McDonald's or, you know, or something, but $1 can feed somebody. So don't discount the power of it. Not to mention, the dollar that you give to the person might not even be as valuable as the fact that you took a minute or 2 out of your day to go over and say hi to them and ask them if if they could use $1, if they could use some food. So I prefer, are you two kidding me here? I prefer to give people food over money. So if I see somebody that's on the corner with a street sign that's begging for money, I like to walk up to them and say, hey, can I buy you some water? Can I buy you some food? That's just my preference. I will give money when I'm led to, and if it's a situation where there's no food, no water around or something, I might give money. But I love to do water and food because I know it's going towards that. There's people that probably have good intentions, but you give somebody a $5 bill that is hurting for drugs and they got to choose between food or drugs. Unfortunately, a drug addict will almost always choose the drugs. So I prefer to give money, but it can be your time, it can be money, it can be anything. Just get used to being a giver. Have a more generous spirit. If you're already a giver and you're doing a lot, just figure out a way that you can do a little bit more. If you're somebody that isn't giving at all, I promise you it will change your life. Test me on this, folks. Test me, please. You know, in the Bible, it does not, God tells you, do not test him most of the time. Like there's a famous, parable where it shows that Jesus went out and fasted and prayed for 40 days and 40 nights. And then the devil came to tempt him. And one of the things that the devil came to tempt him with, was food. And, and Jesus tells the devil that it's said in the Bible that we are not to just live off of food, that we are to live off of the Spirit of the Lord. And so, but, and it says in that verse, do not tempt thy God. There's a part of that story where the devil tells Jesus, jump off this mountaintop that you're on. Your God will surely save you. And Jesus says, it says in the Bible, do not test me. So in most areas, the Bible tells you, do not test you. Where are you? Why are you whining? Gosh. Seriously, guys. Oh. I can't complain too much. The puppies are starting to get old enough to where when they got to use a restroom, they're whining, which is way better than the alternative. But it was just driving me crazy. I don't know if you guys could hear it or not. But anyways, but in the Bible, the one area where God does say to test him is Malachi 3:10, I believe it is, where God talks about giving and being generous. And that if you test him on this, that watch your barn houses, your storehouses become overflowing. So giving does two things. Giving helps you to be in an abundant mindset. If you can't give, you're going to have trouble accumulating wealth, because if you don't have a giving, generous, abundant mindset and you are hoarding everything that you have, it's going to be tough to hold on to it. It's like water. If you put water in the palm of your hand like this, you can hold a pretty decent amount of water. But if you try to close your fist and hold on to that water tight, it's going to squirt out and it's going to go running out of your hand. And so it's a good metaphor for life. If your hand is open and you are giving generously and have that abundant mindset, you make it so much easier for wealth to flow in your direction. And I'm not saying to be a giver out of, just a greedy, like, hey, the more I give, the more I'm going to get back, and do it just for yourself. But with giving, one of the cool things about giving is that you can't outgive God. So the more generous you are, if you don't got money, give your time. There's a lot of people that could use your help. Maybe you've got a neighbor that's elderly and they can't mow their own grass or they can't do their own yard work. Go out on a Saturday afternoon and spend an hour or two, cleaning up their yard, mowing their grass, doing, if you don't have money, use some time, use some of your resources outside of money. If you have money, use some of that. But I'm just telling you, get in the habit of giving. So I also recommend that you figure out what it is that you are going to do on a daily basis, whether it's 25 cents a day, $1 a day, even just being a giver with your attitude. I said it a million times on here. When you go out in public and you ask somebody, you run into a store clerk at the 7-Eleven or the Starbucks or, wherever you are going in life, coworkers, maybe you walk into work and you walk past 3 coworkers and you kind of give the obligatory, hello, how you doing today as you walk by. Start being a generous person by just stopping for a second and saying, hey, Bob, how you doing today? How was your weekend? Yeah, what did you do? And just be generous with your kindness and really showing people that you legitimately, honestly care about them, instead of just doing the, the obligatory whatever, hey, how you doing? I'm doing good too. And on the way. There's so many ways that you can be a giver that don't include money. Habit of love in relationships, guys, especially for us guys. If you were raised and you're not, big on, like saying, I love you. This reminds me of a story where this husband and this wife, they've been married for like 30 years and the wife is ready to leave the husband. She wants a divorce. And the husband is like, why? And she's like, I don't even know if you love me anymore. You haven't said that you love me in 30 years. And the guy says, yeah, but I told you that I loved you on our wedding day. Why would anything have changed? And I know that that sounds ridiculous probably to most of us, but there's probably some people on here that have told somebody in their life that they love them, and maybe it's been a week or a month or 6 months or 6 years. Guys, especially for you guys, the women in your life, the kids in your life, they need to hear I love you all the time. You cannot tell your loved ones that you love them too much. And so I know for some folks, there's a lot of guys out there that were born, that were raised to be unemotional, think it's a sign of weakness, to say I love you or to be like that. But I'm telling you, if you would like to see a improvement in your relationships, start letting the people in your life that are close to, that know you love them. My wife asks me all the time. She says she'll usually ask me, 3 questions. Brad, do you love me? And I'm like, yes, I love you. She's like, you promise? And I'm like, yes, I promise. And she's like, forever and ever? And I'm like, yes, babe, forever and ever. And that might happen once a day sometimes. Sometimes it might only be once a week. But I'm telling you guys, for all of you that are listening, guys and girls, tell the people in your life that you love them more than you currently do. Let them know that they're special. Let them know that you appreciate them. One of the things that I try to do in my life, my wife does almost all of the cooking. And it can be easy when she's cooking breakfast, lunch, dinner, like multiple meals a day sometimes, and every day. It can be so easy to start taking it for granted and to not thank her after a meal. But I make sure that every single time she makes a meal, I don't care if it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, that I thank her and that I appreciate her. And I'm like, thank you very much for making that delicious peanut butter and jelly sandwich. That was an incredible sandwich. I know you made it with love, and I love you and I appreciate you. Guys, I'm telling you, it will change your life if you start letting the people that that are close to you, that you love them more. And I'm giving you permission. If you had a dad, or you were raised in an environment, you were raised in a culture where that wasn't the norm, where it's a sign of weakness, I'm here to tell you that that's a bunch of bull crap, bunch of baloney. It is not weakness as a man to tell your wife and your kids that you love them, to hug them, to kiss them. I'm telling you guys, this will change your life. If you're one of those guys that is all rigid and you never hug your kids, I'm telling you, try it. It might feel foreign and completely weird. And if you've got a 6, 7, 8, 10-year-old kid that's not used to getting a hug from you, they're probably going to look at you like you got 3 heads the first time you tell them, hey, come here, give me a hug. I promise you. Guys, especially with your sons, I mean, your daughters, it comes a little bit more naturally to hug your daughters. Sometimes us guys, we're macho and, hey, man, our son, we don't want to hug our 10-year-old son, our 12-year-old son. My 19-year-old son and I, man, we hug each other multiple times a day. And I'm telling you, if you're not a person that shows that kind of emotion, that tells your family that you love them and you hug them, I promise you, if you go try it for a few weeks, you will come back and be like, man, thank you so much for saying that, Brad. Now, I don't know very many cryptocurrency YouTubers that are on their YouTube channel telling you that one of the secrets to a better life is to go hug your kids and to go tell your wife that you love her more often. But I'm telling you, You can have all the money in the world, man, but if you ain't got a wife and kids, or significant other, a husband and kids that you are loving on and telling them that you love and that you're hugging, man, you are missing out in life. I promise you. Test me on this. I know, especially all cultures are a little bit different, but I know some of you that are watching that are from across the world. Maybe in your cultures you don't do a lot of hugging, you don't show emotion, and maybe you will be a little bit of an outcast in the beginning, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. And that is something that is a ripple effect, man, because guess what? If you don't hug your kids and tell them that you love them, they're probably going to grow up and they're not going to hug their kids, and they're not going to tell their kids that they love them. So you have an opportunity to break the bondage. You have an ability to break that bondage in your life. It's an interesting dynamic. I've got two different family members. I'm not going to name the people, but I've got a family member that has a very bad drinking problem. And I also know somebody that doesn't drink at all. They both have kids, and they both have kids that have now grown into adult age. And guess what? You would think that the person that has the drinking problem, and it's been, the kids grew up hating alcohol in that person's life. It ruined their lives in a lot of ways. But guess what? Both of the adult kids are both drinkers. I know for sure that one of them is smokes pot on a regular basis. The other one, I'm not sure, I believe does. They also grew up around smokers. They vape. My point is you would think if you grew up in a household with an alcoholic that was drinking themselves to death, and that created a incredibly unhealthy, uncomfortable home environment, that would be the person that doesn't drink. But both of them grew up and they're following in that footstep. Now, maybe they don't have a dependency or a problem yet, but man, it wouldn't surprise me if they develop one. And my point is, the person that doesn't drink at all, they've got two adult kids that don't drink. That person that didn't do any drugs at all during those kids' childhood and lifetime, neither one of those kids does any drugs. And once again, you would think maybe it's the opposite. It should be the opposite. Like the kids that were raised, never saw a drink, never saw drugs, would grow up more curious, would grow up more likely to go out in the world and do those things. And that the kid that saw it their whole life would want to stay away from it. But unfortunately, in our lives, guys, that's not how it works. So you get an opportunity to break the chains in those lives emotionally. So this might be the most important part of our talk. Heck with the money, heck with the health. That's important. But I'm here to tell you, if you want to make an immediate change in your life and have more happiness and have better relationships, and to come back here in a week or two or a month and be able to give me an incredible testimony about how your life has changed, be more loving. Tell people you love them more. Hug more. Hug more. Hug more, man. Hugs are amazing. They're one of my favoriteest things in the world. I love a hug. So enough about that. But now we talked about the habit of giving. We've talked about health. We've talked about wealth. We've talked about habit of relationships. And last but not least, guys, this is not least. I probably should have led with this. I should have went first with this. I'm not going to talk about this a ton. I know some of you do believe in God. Some of you don't. This isn't preaching. If you don't believe in God, then just, don't worry too much about this part. But if you are a believer, but you're not spending any time with God, then you're not living in his power. So once again, this isn't for a selfish reason, but good things are going to happen. It would be kind of like this computer. If I've got this computer and it's got this power cord, and the wall outlet off to the 3 feet has the power. The wall outlet has the power, but in order to be on here talking to you guys today, and able to do all of the amazing things that I can do on this computer, I've got to be plugged into the source. So folks, if you believe in God and you believe that he is the source of your power, like I do, it says in the Bible that all good things come from God. I believe that God is the source of my power on this earth. So being a Christian is great, but guess what, man? If your plug is outside of the wall socket, then being a Christian, you don't have any power. Do you want to have power in Christianity? Do you want to have power? Do you want to have the power to change people's lives? Do you want your prayer to be powerful? Do you want to be a powerful, mighty man or woman for Christ? If you're a Christian, I would hope that the answer is yes. But man, if you are not plugged into the source, you have no power. So for you Christians out there, start getting in the habit of spending time with God habitually on a daily basis. Once again, like I think, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 pages in the Bible is a great place to start. 10, 15, 20 minutes in the Bible. But if you're not reading the Bible at all, if you're a Christian and you haven't read the Bible for months or years, just start off with one page. Heck, start off with one paragraph. Go to Google and Google something that's interesting. Like go to Google and say, what does God say about wealth in the Bible? And then just read whatever scripture pops up. Do something. The habit, I think you guys are starting to figure it out, right? The habit is more important than the amount. The habit is more important than the amount. So if you're not spending any time with God, dear Father in heaven, Lord, thank you for waking me up today. Amen. That is infinitely better than not praying at all. Dear Father in heaven, Lord, please bless and protect my family today, Lord. Please save them or keep them from harm. Amen. Just start spending time with God on a consistent basis. You can ramp it up as you get into the habit. One Bible verse, one prayer, and, turn it into more. Something else that is a great habit. My wife is so good at praying over every meal, thanking God every time we eat for this blessing, for the food. That's another great way to get in the habit of spending time with God. It's just a quick prayer. Thank you, Father in heaven, for blessing us with this time together. Thank you for blessing us with the abundance to have this incredible meal. We love you. We thank you in Jesus' precious name. Amen. Just spend more time with God. Like I said, I'm not going to beat you across the head with it. For those of you who know I'm talking to you that are like, man, God is talking to me. I'm a Christian. I love God, but I ain't read my Bible in months. I ain't prayed in months. The only time I pray is when life gets real bad and there's something where I just like cry out to God, but I'm not praying on a regular basis. I'm not reading my Bible. You're unplugged from the source, guys. And that's all I'm going to say about that. Get plugged back in to the source. You will be amazed how when you get plugged back into God and God's power is flowing through you, how that will transform your life. I can tell you guys that God is doing some amazing things in me. I'm always telling you that I'm not a perfect human, and I'm not. Off camera, I cuss more than I should. But God has really changed my heart, and I'm starting to use darn and shoot and gosh and golly way more than I used to. Fudge. I used a fudge today. Something was happening in traffic, something that would have usually caused me, I would have dropped an F-bomb, and instead I said fudge. And that's because I have the Spirit. God, Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit is living in me. He's close. I'm close to the fire. I'm close to the power. I'm close to the fire. The heat is emitting, and it's causing me to make these changes. It's causing me when I'm in a restaurant and I used to have no self-control. I would sit here and look at myself in the mirror and be disgusted with what I was looking at, but I would still go out to a restaurant and order all of the stuff that I knew that I shouldn't and eat every single bite of it. And then some of my wives, and then have dessert on top of it. Now God has given me the power to say, nope, I'm not going to have that. Nope, I want to be healthy, because it says in the Bible to treat your body like a temple. And something that I've realized over the years, I've known it for a while, but I'm I'm a firm believer, guys, that one of the reasons that I haven't been elevated and I haven't gotten onto some of the stages that I want to get onto, I haven't worked with some of the incredible mentors that I want to work with. A lot of the things in my life that haven't happened for me yet are because I've had a lack of discipline and a lack of an ability to control what goes into my mouth and how much I exercise. And it was revealed to me that that was making, huge things. Like, I've got guys in my life that I love, but I know that they don't respect me the way that they would once I'm healthy. They're like, man, why do I want to take your advice about finances when you can't even take care of your own body? Like, if you're not willing to be disciplined and take care of your body when it tells you in the Bible to treat your body like a temple, why do I want to take your financial advice? I've got high ticket clients. I got guys that I believe would invest tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars and would probably pay me to be their personal coach if I was healthy and in shape. But because I'm not healthy and in shape and they see the way I take care of my body, they don't want to entrust their finances with me. So on that note, I appreciate each and every one of you that are a part of this channel. And I believe that I'm hopefully an incredible mentor when it comes to cryptocurrency investing. My point is that getting rid of this excess weight and getting under 199 pounds is not only going to change my life health-wise so that I can hopefully run around and be a good father to some babies that my wife and I are having. Hopefully, sometime over the next couple of months, I'm going to have good news and let you know that I am expecting to be a father in 9 months. And I want to be a father that I'm going to be 52, 53 years old by the time this kid's born. I want to be able to run around. So I got to be 60, 63 years old when it's 10. I want to be able to still be playing basketball and be active and raise this child with energy. But on top of that, losing this weight and completing this challenge is going to do more for my financial life than just about anything else that I can do in my life. So, but my point is, getting closer to God is what is giving me the strength. I've proven I can't do it on my own strength. I haven't had the willpower. I haven't had the strength to do what I'm doing. The reason that this is working is because I'm plugged into God, and God has given me a strength that I don't possess all on my own. So get closer to God, start spending time with God, and watch the power in his life that will start to then transform your life. Things that you used to have a lot of trouble with and discipline doing will start to come naturally in your life. Once again, I started off this talk in the beginning and I said, hey, if you would like things in your life to just kind of start working, to quit feeling like you're knocking your head up against a brick wall all the time, like everything is friction and everything is hard and it's always a chore and it's always miserable. I'm telling you, get close to God, and things that you used to think were miserable and that were hard will start to transform in your life, and they'll start to have an easiness to them. It's still going to take work. I'm not telling you that magic fairy dust is going to fall out of the sky and all of a sudden your life is going to be all rose petals and tulip blossoms. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm telling you, when you get the power of Jesus Christ and you're close to him, things that you used to struggle with, temptations that you used to have, will start to dwindle. If you're a man out there that's got issues with lust, I'm telling you, get close to Jesus Christ and that stuff will start to go away. You start looking at women as sisters in Christ. So whatever your battle is with your flesh, this battle on earth is mostly with your flesh. Your flesh does not want to do. Your flesh don't want to eat healthy. Your flesh does not want to exercise. Your flesh does not want to have a giving, generous spirit. Your flesh doesn't want to go out of its way and really tell your family how much you love them and how special they are. Those are fruits of the Spirit. Those are fruits of being close to God. So with that, guys, I hope that some of you that weren't on last Tuesday's Bible study will go join that link. I'm going to put this again into the description of the video, but I'm going to pop it right here. If you scroll back up, this should be a hyperlink. Folks, 6 p.m. tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Eastern, there's going to be a small group of us men. We're going to get together. We're going to encourage each other, and we're going to have an incredible hour, hour and a half of time to fellowship and to make sure that we are not alone in this journey. So if you're feeling led, go click on that link, go join up and get ready to be a part of the Bible study tomorrow. And in the meantime and between time, have an amazing day. And we will see you tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time for the Tuesday Trader live stream. Man, the trading has been going phenomenal. I'm going to have Crypto Bullseye. Keith from Crypto Bullseye is going to be on the channel tomorrow. We're going to start at 9:10. By the time the countdown timer is done, it's going to be about 9:15 tomorrow. That helps him with his schedule, be able to get on and be a part of it. So I hope that we see all of you tomorrow at 9:10, 9:15. And with that, folks, happy Monday again. Love you all. God bless you. Have a fantastic rest of your day. See you tomorrow.